All right, as the news of the BP oil spill worsens every day, President Obama warns that we just might be facing a, quote, unprecedented environmental disaster. It's no wonder that many on the left are saying that there should be no offshore drilling. We're joined now by Mark Levine, Democratic strategist and host of the Inside Scoop radio show. Mark, is this the president's opportunity to take drilling off the table? What do I call him, flip-flopper Otis?
Well, I think he has to take drilling off the table. This is one of the few things where he tried to appeal to the right. The right wanted oil companies to be able to drill without regulation, and we see the problem of drilling without regulation. Here, a $500,000 remote control valve would have saved millions of lives in shipping and you have fishing and shrimp, and two-thirds of all shrimp in the nation.
Just let me ask you something. What do you mean without regulation? There's regulation.
There's very little regulation. I'll give you an example. This valve is required by Norway and Brazil. Royal Dutch Shell uses it. It's a remote control valve. It would have cost British Petroleum $500,000. They didn't want to pay for it. And one of the reasons I think they didn't want to pay for it is because they don't have to pay for the total cleanup. There's a law, which I'm sure you know about, the Oil Spill Liability Act, that says they only have to pay $75 million for a $24 billion company to deal with the economic damages of what they've caused. Let's all agree that we shouldn't have a taxpayer bailout of oil companies. Let's end that law. Can you agree with me, Eric?
Well, what do you think? Beck, I'll let you jump in here real quick, but you're talking about $75 million. Yes, BP is going to pay tens of billions to clean this up. And, by the way, they do have that valve. It just failed. I'm sorry, Rebecca, go.
They don't have the remote control valve.
They don't, I'm sorry?
Yes, they do.
They don't have the remote control valve, the acoustic valve that's required by Norway and Brazil. They do not, Eric. Look it up.
Okay, well, the bigger picture here, Mark, I mean, you know, are we going to let the country be derailed by one accident, one tragedy? I mean, we could look back at past tragedies like the space shuttle disaster, you know, and just call off the whole space program after that. No, you have to learn from your mistakes and continue on, move forward. So I don't know. I think you saying that they're going to completely call off offshore drilling and open new areas, maybe off the mark. It's premature.
I think they should pay for the damage they caused. Right now, in fact, there's a bill that's sponsored by Democratic senators to make the oil companies pay for it all. They're limited to $75 million. Two-thirds of all shrimp in the nation comes from Louisiana. They're fishermen. They're going to be out of work for who knows how many years. They should have to pay for that damage. Why should the fishermen have to suffer because of the oil company's mistake? Until oil companies are willing to pay for the damage they caused, they shouldn't be drilling in the first place.
They are going to pay for it, though. I don't understand why they're not.
No, they're not.
Yes,
they're
they
limited
are going
to $75 million. They're limited to $75 million economic damages.
First of all, Obama said he's keeping BP accountable, and the CEO of BP said, we are responsible for the cleanup. They will pay.
The cleanup only, but not the economic damages.
No, they said
we're going to lose so much shrimp and seafood.
I'm with you, Eric. Mark, I saw that as well. Now, the one thing that along
they said they would, but they won't.
Okay,
they
well,
clearly
then
won't.
that's where the lawyers come in, right, to settle this.
No, but Rebecca, I hope you and Eric and I can agree on getting rid of this $75 million limitation and saying they have to clean up all the economic damages.
You're hanging your hat on something ridiculous. This is going to be, Exxon paid $4 or $5 billion. BP is likely going to pay tens of billions of dollars. Let's talk about this, though. If you do what Rebecca said, stop drilling. There's 3,500 wells in the Gulf, right? 3,500 of these platforms. If you shut those down, as you suggest, oil prices will be $500 a barrel. Gas will be $15 a gallon. That's better?
Eric, the new plan that President Obama suggested would lower gas prices 2 cents a gallon by 2030. 2 cents a gallon by 2030. We should tax them those 2 cents and put the money in a fund to cover for oil spills. At the end of the day, I just want corporations to pay their fair share. You know, Republicans always are trying to pick on the poor and the middle class. Why can't corporations pay their fair share? They certainly get plenty of corporate welfare from us.
I mean, along those same lines, already the courts have cracked down because BP was going out there and having residents and people negatively affected by this lawsuit, sign a waiver so they don't have the right to sue in exchange for $5,000. And boy, the courts came down on them. They said, stop that right now. That is wrong.
But I really hope that you'll look into this new law that's being sponsored by the Democrats to make sure they have to pay for all the economic damages. Corporations shouldn't have a limitation on liability when they can destroy millions of people's livelihoods in tourism and seafood and all the rest.
All right, Mark, real quick, we're running out of time. Drilling in the cap and trade or climate change bill, yes or no?
I think no drilling without corporations paying for their full responsibility. No.
Okay, Mark Levine, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us for Happy Hour, folks.
Thank you both.
And folks, chime in as well. What do you think about all of this? Mark brings up some good points there, and we did as well. Happy Hour live chat guest today. La la la. Happy Hour's own Dr. Mark Siegel. Actually, Dr. Siegel was going to address some of the potential health concerns out there with this oil spill. And so if you have any questions, log on to foxbusiness.com.